way down in Manchester for a very impromptu visit to the Bespoked Bicycle Show. Let's go and look at some cool bikes. Such a busy show. So glad to see so many people there enthusiastic about bespoke bikes. It was impossible to film in there really, so I'm going to try and narrate over some of my favourite bits. Now, as you can imagine, loads of custom painted stems and handlebars and some really amazing paint jobs in there as well. But there were some things in here that really caught my eye and I'm really excited to tell you about. I want to start with a small company called Sideways, run by a girl called Viola. Now, she was the only one there that I saw actually hand building carbon bikes. I had a really fascinating conversation with her. She had 2 bikes on display there, and they instantly caught my eye because they were immediately obvious that they were handmade. You know, there's those little imperfections that you just are still crafted, but still noticeable as something hand built and not built in a factory. And then we started to speak to her and learn about her process, about how she's developed, and actually learn from brands like Time and seeing how they're compacting like carbon into molds and how she was developing molds through 3D printing, and then how all the bonding works and the trial and error process that she's been through. Absolutely fascinating. She's got a YouTube channel. I'm going to link it down in the description because there's a load of detail in there of her really close up, like actually making these carbon frames. And they weren't that expensive, like £3,000 for a completely custom made, hand built. And the nice thing is that you can get whatever geometry that you want on it as well. So I loved her attention to detail when it came to the bottom bracket. She uses BB386 Evo, and she talked me through her whole process about how she's got this metal bar that is exactly 46 millimeters at a certain temperature, and then she puts it, the carbon around it, molds it, and then puts it through a process of taking the temperature out of that bar by freezing it and then extracting it. So she's left with a perfectly symmetrical, perfectly concentric 46 millimeter bore tubing around the frame that she's making. The attention to detail was massive, and the quality that she was producing without, you know, the big factory, the autoclaves, was really impressive. Just go and check her out. I think this is someone to watch. After that, we bumped into Ryan from Ryan Builds Wheels. Now, he's got a very fledgling YouTube channel as well that you should definitely go and check out, all about wheel building. He's got a little company that one sells spokes and the other one builds wheels on demand. He's actually talking about how he's splitting those companies out and he's moving his premises and the wheel building to South Wales and leaving his business partner Pete to concentrate on the spokes. Fantastic. I love seeing businesses like this, real cottage industries doing fantastic work, really make progress. He is now importing Velocity rims. Now, Velocity rims have got much more of a following in the Audax market, the touring, where you really need to make sort of bespoke things that are easily repairable in the field. But they also do some exciting stuff. I was particularly excited about this aero rim, which I think is going to be fantastic for youth racing, where you're restricted on the depth, but also got a lot of youth racers want to do a cyclocross season and a road season on the sort of same rims. They look fantastic, and you get them in a whole range of colours as well. So that's an interesting prospect, as well as sort of some trail mountain biking as well. So I think he'll do quite well out of that. Here's what Ryan had to say.
Velocity were kind enough to approach me a little while ago because I kept on ordering rims from them and I really dig their range.
And you've got a great reputation of wheel building. That must be why.
Yeah, well, so I thought that we'd give distribution a little go, and at the moment you can get anything. At the moment you can get any rim that you need from us. We're bringing them in like a couple of boxes every month, and shortly, once I finish the move to South Wales, then we're going to be holding many of the most prominent options.
Start building them into an actual hand-built build by Ryan himself. Amazing, great effort. And this is really geared at touring, classic road, a bit of gravel, some lightweight sort of youth racing, and some mountain bike trail as well.
Yep.
It's in all these amazing colours.
It's all there, yeah, any colour, any rim, any time.
I think it's doing really well. Good luck.
Cool, thanks very much.
Right, let's talk about some titanium bikes, and 3 brands really stood out for me: Craft, Reilly and Atherton. Now, what really stood out is the quality of the 3D printed titanium components that make up a frame. So the rear dropout at the bottom bracket, the triangles where the seat post and chainstays meet, the head tube, etc. All of that has just gone to another level. They're absolutely beautiful. And now I think if you put paint on some of these frames, I don't think you'd be able to tell the difference easily whether they were carbon fibre or not. You know, the moulding and the smooth welds has just reached another level that I've never seen before. interestingly, that Craft and Reilly are still getting most of their stuff made out in the Far East, where they've got good relationships with factories, etc. And they're doing a lot of the finishing work over in the UK. So they're adding anodizing and colouring, doing some final modifications. So whether you want external lugs on the frame, removing or left on for, for running external cables, and how they do the headsets, etc., facing the bottom brackets, that's all being sort of carefully quality controlled here in the UK. Atherton Bikes, super interested. Now, I've seen a lot of Atherton Bikes sort of on demo days, but I've never had the chance to get really, really up close and speak to someone from Atherton. So that was amazing. Alex, thank you so much for your time. I know your stand was so busy, but I really appreciate that. They've invited us down to Duffy to go and look around their factory and try some of their bikes, which I'm really excited about, to be honest, because I think what they're doing for mountain biking right now is incredible, and realizing that, how they're working with the carbon tubes and the lugs, that we can now size a bike correctly, for length as well as height, I think is super exciting. So, and the quality of those bikes was absolutely outstanding. It was brilliant to see how all that comes together. So yeah, watch out and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from both these brands. I think Reilly are going to be sending us a frame to test, and hopefully we'll get down to go and see Atherton Bikes pretty soon as well. One of the little quirky things that really caught my eye was this wooden bike from Twomper. Absolutely beautiful craftsmanship, no doubt about it. The original carbon fiber, if you think about it, just beautiful to look at. I can't believe the attention to detail in this was absolutely incredible. Can't imagine what they are like to ride. And there was a guy there who's selling a cork saddle as well, so it's a titanium chassis to the saddle, and then a cork outside as well. Interesting idea. Also got to have a quick look at the hubs that Pete talked kind of on his channel a little while ago, where the ratchet is actually on the disc side. And the idea of this is that it balances the hub a whole lot more, so you can lace your wheel a whole lot more effectively. You can run bigger bearings. There's a whole load of engineering stuff in there that makes a whole lot of sense. It was great to fondle it in my hand and see how it all worked. My major concern with this is just going to be parts availability, how they're going to compete, because they've got to have a proprietary disc rotor and all those proprietary components. I think for this to go anywhere near mainstream, or to be recommended, if you like, it just makes me very, very nervous about the long-term availability of some of those parts. But I love the idea, and I hope they go somewhere with it. So one of the brands I really wanted to speak to when I was there was Reilly Bikes. Now, Reilly, as far as I know, are the only company here in the UK making carbon fiber bikes, autoclaved and cut out and sort of factory production, not like Viola is very craft industries. But they weren't there to speak to. There was literally no one there. The whole time I was there, I couldn't find anybody on their stand. They had this one bike on display. I've got some pictures for you. And you can tell that it's got a different level of engineering and manufacture to most of the mainstream made in factories bikes. But I'm still really short of information on this. I'd love to know more about this brand. But yeah, watch this space. If someone from Reap is watching this, please get in contact, because I'd love to learn more about Reap Bikes. They look great. Of course, I'm a mechanic, so I had to stop by the BSC Tools. Had a fantastic conversation with those guys. They've got a brilliant range of tools that would go beyond what you're going to get from Park and Unwire. They're really geared around a professional mechanic working in shops. Their tools are expensive and made for people that are going to be using them all day, every day. And here you can see I was fondling their bearing press, really well precision made stuff that's just easy to use in the hand, an absolute pleasure to use. The thing that really caught my eye though was their spoke nipple drivers, which go onto a 1/4-inch drive that you'd put into an electric screwdriver or drill, etc. Now, I've been eyeing these up for a little while, and I wanted to see them in the flesh before I committed to buying them, but they are really, really beautifully well made, and they're going to speed up wheel disassembly and early stages of assembly massively. So yeah, they are getting added to the basket right away. I expect to see them on the channel sometime soon. Really, really impressive stuff. Okay, that was a super quick map deck highlight reel of the Bespoke Bicycle Show. It was a fantastic day out. In fact, the whole building was an experience. It's in like a Victorian Turkish baths inside a sort of swimming pool thing, and they had like a techno shower and all sorts of cafe, and just a great day out, to be honest, and superb to speak to some real craftsmen. And thank you to everyone who spent a bit of time talking us through what they have to offer. Things that we haven't really mentioned really are the steel bikes and these steel frame manufacturers who are really custom making for very specific use cases, like light mounts and pannier mounts and bottle cage mounts, and really trying to get a bike customized for a very specific type of like long distance touring trip. Now, if you like this sort of content, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to know more about things like Reilly and Atherton Bikes, which hopefully get on the channel soon, think about subscribing to the channel and getting notified as soon as those videos hit the channel. All right, thanks for watching. Take it easy.